You say that I'm a dreamer. Not the only one, but I'm not dreaming about Tidal Wave. The good demons are green. Good demons are green. I don't know what demons we're getting. Well, this is a job for HS Lookup. I'm just quoting John Lennon. Dreadlord is obviously the best one. These are awful. These are really bad. Willow, Jumbo, and the Dreadlord. I'm good. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna instead let someone else do that, and I'm going to say this card is not good. I'm gonna say this card is not good. Decks that want to play big demons also want soul fragments. I believe you. Soul fragments. We get to talk about soul fragments again. That'll be exciting. That'll take. I have to stop at 2. I have to stop in 40 minutes. I wonder if we'll get through this. A 1/3 demon. Oh yeah. This is just a really strong zoo card. Warlock has ways. Warlock has ways to make this good. I don't know. I think we just play this on 4 in a low-cost deck. Does that make this a build around? What are we building around in Zoo? I mean, I guess Scrap Imp. Just good with low-cost stuff. To make pack opening feel worse. This is something that we could do in Warlock, but what's the build around? I feel like we're actually building around this card. Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Is this a key support or is this a trap? I think we're much more likely to go full Soul Fragment in Warlock than anything else. But is this a thing? Is this a thing? You don't think we play Void Drinker and Scholar both seem nuts to me. They both seem really, really strong. Like, unless we're just playing it for the life gain. This card, I refuse to rate this card lower than a 5. Absolutely refuse. I will not rate this card lower than a 5. I don't know if the Soul Fragment deck is bad. It probably is. But this cost for this effect is too good. The 3 drops are both insane. Yeah, I don't see the argument that it's not worth doing either of those things. I'm not sure if it's worth doing this thing. I'm not sure if it's worth doing this thing. I'm not going to just look at the high roll potential. I'm not just going to look at the low roll potential. But I think we talked about this. If Mount Seller only gets you rushers, that's pretty good, right? If Mount Seller only gets you rushers, that's pretty good. Yeah, the good cards do eat your soul fragments. This doesn't, Steve, this doesn't eat them. This does not blow up your soul fragments. It does not. For each soul fragment in your deck, summon. It does not eat them. Keeps the soul fragments in your deck. Yeah, they talked about that on the video where apparently this felt really bad when it did eat the soul fragments, so it leaves them there. This is... What's the downside to running it? Is that it's a 7-drop. But I think we probably do run it. I think we probably do run it. Like, the question is it a sketchy 7-drop? But I think about all the times where Mount Seller has gotten a bunch of 3/3, like, gotten a bunch of rushers, and guaranteeing that, like, seems pretty solid. We don't have Savage Roar, but I don't think we need Savage Roar, because all we need is one Soul Fragment card makes this a 7-mana 5/5 with 2 3/3s. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Well, no, it's 7 drop for a minimum 5/5 of stats. But yeah, we'll be able to just save a jailer or something. I think it's worth doing. This is really narrow. This is really, really narrow. Dr. Doom. I think if it summons 2 3/3s, we're happy in Scholomance. I think if it is 5/5 with 2 3/3s, I think we're happy. Like, not thrilled, but fine. I mean, yes, Overgrowth is the real reason why Mount Seller is good. But I just think about the turns where my opponent has had Mount Seller and it has swung the board effectively. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to play this card. Maybe I'm supposed to want to play this card. I don't want to play this card. It gives a Demon Overload 1 for +1/+1. Like, I guess making the copy is worth it. And so, the thing about this is, this card getting a 4 does not mean the deck is good. It means that if you're playing that deck, this is a support card to that deck. And I think the deck is worth trying. It's not such a trap. It's not bad, like, completely inefficient. That it's not worth trying. But it's possible the deck is not a thing. And if the deck is not a thing, then yeah, this card is not a thing. And none of the things are a thing. But the payoffs in Warlock actually seem really strong to me. So, like, what I'm saying is, I think this deck will be playable. If this was bad, if I said this is completely bad, I'd say I don't think the deck is playable. I do think the deck is playable. So the reason this is a key support card is because I do think that deck will be playable. But it's possible that's wrong, and if so, then all of these cards becomes 1s. But with any rating system, if you guess on a card and then the deck's not playable, they all turn to 1s anyways. So this is the role this deck is playing, and I am saying I think the deck is playable. But if I'm in any other rating system and I give it a score above a 1 and the deck is bad, then it ends up turning into a 1 anyways, and it's still a miss. It's not a different miss, right? It's the same issue that we have with any rating system. And so, Schwal, what you were saying is you fundamentally disagree the Soul Fragment deck will exist. And that means that it is not the system, it is our evaluation that differs. Because you are evaluating that this deck is bad, and I am evaluating this deck is playable. I don't know if Philosophy is playable. I feel like Philosophy is a win more card. I don't like it. Will exist and be bad. That's the same as not existing, though. If it exists and is not bad. Alright, so Flesh Giant. Well, but we also reevaluate cards, Steve, based on context. So, if it's Tier 3, that doesn't exist. Tier 3 is not a thing. If something is a fringe choice, I'm going to call that deck bad. But so context is important, too. There are cards that are reviewed in Ashes that I would have given a 1 then. I probably did give a 1 that are better now. That could get better now. And because the rating is based on the context that a card is released in. And then you have to reevaluate the card when new cards come out, because cards change based on what you compare them with. And it doesn't mean the original card was misevaluated initially. Just means it's not there yet. And you have to change the rating. Flesh Giant is a card if we are putting in our deck, we change how the deck looks. So I don't know if any of you watched the Masochist Zoo video that I put out a couple days ago, the Dark Glare Zoo deck. And the Dark Glare Zoo deck is a very specific application. But we can play, if you play something like Soulbound Ashtongue, you're playing something like Soulbound Ashtongue Rain of Fire. That's 2 mana off. In a Dark Glare deck, I think this is a really, really strong card. And I think the Dark Glare deck is better than it seems. What's up, P-Sams? And I know that's a very specific application. But I think there are a lot of ways to change your life total frequently by small amounts that we're overlooking. Rain of Fire is insane with this card. Right? Yes, Enthrallment. That's exactly it. It's for the clickbait content. The clickbait content. Rain of Fire takes a mana off this card. There are a lot of cards that deal damage to all characters or all players that discount this card. And you can play cards like Soulbound Ashtongue. You can life tap on your turns. And I think with a card like Dark Glare, this is a payoff that we are building around, and I think it will be worth doing in some context. And yeah, Soul Fragments can work with this. Could be a Soul Fragment payoff, though I don't think Soul Fragments are consistent enough. Yeah, Mad Bomber Zoo, that would be something. That would be something. But I don't know, the zoo deck that I was trying had Soulbound Ashtongue and Potion Vendor and Rain of Fire. And there have been turns where I would have discounted this by 6 mana. Yeah, it seems worth doing. Weapon frames are live, yeah. The Theorycraft article, if you're talking about the Vicious Syndicate one, that is a Vicious Syndicate question, because I do not write that, Zach does, but I am looking forward to that next week. The card just came out yesterday, so I'm guessing it's going to be a while. Yeah, I think Flesh Giant at 4 mana will happen a lot, and I think that means it is a very good card. I don't know about this one. I want this card to be good. I really want this card to be good. It's so much harder to use than it looks. It's so often going to be 6 mana. It's so often going to be an Aeon Reaver. It's better in Warlock by a lot, but is it good in Warlock? It's better, but is it good? Warlock does not play Siphon Soul. Keladin, sure. It's better than Keladin if you're playing it for less mana, obviously. I think this is harder to use than it looks. Aeon Reaver withdraw, kind of. We might be playing Raised Dead, Steve. Maybe we are. I don't know. I doubt we're playing Raised Dead. We are. I want to play Dark Glare still. I still want to be a Dark Glare person. But I think this is a card that will be techy. Probably Enthrallment? Probably. But would I pay 6? I don't know. I mean, I'm not just going to do the flat 0 mana spells tend to be good. There have been plenty of 0 mana spells that have not been good. These are demon spells? No, these are Warlock. Like, Freezing Potion, not a good card. Current Power Word Shield, not a good card. Whispers of Evil, not a great card. Ancestral Healing, eh. Beaker Lightning. If you top deck Keldon, sure. But so this is, if you life tap and play this, it is draw a card, right? You do get a card out of it. Also, a Pineapple Colada sounds delightful. This is bad, right? Yeah, like the difference with Brittlebone is that if you life tap and play this, it is Aeon Reaver draw a card. And it's unconditional. So I think there's something to that. If Aeon Reaver said health instead of attack, and it also drew me a card, I would play that. I'm gonna leave that as 3. I think there will be some decks that play it and some decks that don't. I don't think it's a key support. 8 mana Jiraxis. The Jiraxis is not good. Jiraxis is not a good card. Jiraxis, time has moved on from Jiraxis. Jiraxis got left behind. I am sorry to say that. Jiraxis is a robot now. Thank you, Wicked. 2 mana, deal 3. Doesn't go face. Yeah, it's... But we already weren't paying a lot for our minions in Zoo. So, like... I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll include neutrals. What are we discovering that we really want? Oh, standard. What are we discovering here that we really want? Spellburst activator? Are we spell bursting? What are we spell bursting? Like, I don't know. I guess this is fine. Mm. They probably do spell bad, yes. And Wild, even Warlock, that is a dream. That is a dream. You face Jiraxis. Please enjoy this tasty beverage. Jiraxis the barista. Barista Jiraxis has been hanging out with Barista Linchan. It is not draw 2 because you're getting 2 1-drops. I don't want that. I could go for a Void Culata. Okay. I'll buy that hockey. I don't see Raise Dead. I don't see Raise Dead happening. Maybe this happens, but I don't see this happening. Alright, School Spirits. Volcanic Potion. Just a Volcanic Potion. It's just a good card. Has there ever been a Volcanic Potion that it hasn't been playable? Has there ever been a 3-mana deal 2 damage to all minions that has been bad? I'm trying to think. Yes. You face refreshment. Power Shot would see play now. Power Shot was legal, now would see play. Hunter was really bad. There was actual Volcanic Potion after rotation, I suppose so. I feel like that card has always been at some level of playable, though. Breath of the Infinite, obviously awesome. Lightning Storm is kind of the bad one, because it costs 5. Demon Wrath was played a little bit. Demon Wrath was played, and that was early on, too. Yeah, I would run Power Shot and Highlander Hunter right now. I will do that, Matt. I will do that. I think I would say this is consistently playable and is also an enabler for our strategy. So, okay. I'm not giving this a key support because I think there will be a point where we might not play it. I think actually Warlock decks are more likely to play, or just as likely to play Soul Shear. They are to play Jailer. Alright. And we should talk about Void Drinker a little bit. I don't see how Void Drinker is a bad card. I don't see how... We just need 1 Soul Fragment in the deck, and this thing is so huge. It's in Zoo, I don't want to play Soul Fragment. I'm not playing this in Zoo. I think this card is actually a trap, usually. Hey, later, Wash. I'm only going to be here for... I have 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Now, this is like a mid-range thing. Mountain Dew, yes. I would go for a hot cup of Void. A Void latte.